Hi, my name's Dow Tate, and this is Digital Yearbook Production, or hauberk class. And welcome to the start of a year of producing one of the nation's largest yearbooks, usually in the range of about 500 plus pages. And this is that moment that they're all waiting for, and we finally got to sort of have in person last year, so they kind of missed it. And it was a good day, and it's also a good start for a lot of new people this year. I know there's quite a few maybe parents that don't know exactly how all this works. And so I'm here to tell you a little bit about the class and just sort of how the whole publication works. But yeah, this is our chance. So you can see it's student led up there. You've got editors going to work to kind of start to prepare the new staffers for what's to come and what the expectations are. And there it is. There's the yearbook that a lot of you have probably already seen at this point. And the kids had to overcome quite a bit. It was a challenging year that started from the previous challenging year, which I think that was part of the challenge, was that not everybody saw the same, saw everyone work on things and picked up some of the things from the previous year because they weren't around. So we kind of had to struggle through things as we went, but we managed, and they got a book out and got it out on time. And so that was huge when so many other schools struggled and didn't do that last year. So, but we're off to already a new start this year. And I know that we didn't get to do our normal Gloria Shields workshop this summer as we would in Dallas, which so many kids have looked forward to. So we figured we had to do something special. And so we try to get all the high schools together. This is all the different high schools there at the CA. And I know some of you heard about that. And hopefully the kids got something out of it and enjoyed it, because that was kind of what we had planned. We really wanted to do something where they could be around each other and still, make something out of where they weren't doing it at home like they were the previous summer, where it was just kind of in a bedroom or in a couch and doing it. And this is maybe a little bit more camaraderie, and then kind of learning in the same area, and then really getting to work together. So we did some special things. We did some leadership exercises in the morning that Susan Massey was great with Northwest, and really just sort of made the week hopefully something special. Brought them in food, brought them in donuts, Kona ice, just trying to do something again to make the whole experience a little special. But it's the start of something, and I always kind of tout the whole sense of that it's a very student-led publication that usually means great things for kids, no matter what they go to. Kind of point out, these are some kids. I actually have 3 former students now at the New York Times, and so got to visit them a little bit before the pandemic happened. But that's kind of at the end of it. We get to share some of that as the year goes. The kids get to hear from different staff members and what they've taken from the experience. Because you know what, it is a process, and that's the whole thing. And we turn out a yearbook, but we also hope to turn out kids who are marketable. And you're looking at this and you're like, how is that marketable? Well, this is where the kids started. And I always use this, my photographer's use this the other day, as a matter of fact. And it just goes to show that this was a young photographer. This is one of the first games she shot. And so I always remind kids there's a lot of failure early on to just keep pushing to get the stuff. And there's some competition from photographers to sort of get pictures on the spreads and get pictures in the yearbook. And that's usually good and healthy competition because it pushes everybody to be a little bit better. This particular girl shot this, and it was bad, but at the same time, you're like, okay, you're filling the frame, you're getting close, because by the end of the year, this is where she was. And this was a National Picture of the Year. This is our first National Picture of the Year. And I've been here, 14 years now, I guess, 15? Oh no, I've been here longer than that. Boy, time flies. I was in Dallas 14, that's what I was thinking, and been here almost 20. Yeah, so this is a National Picture of the Year, one of a ton that we've had since last 20 years. And so, but it just goes to show you where kids can sometimes start and work through the process. That's a yearbook spread that you saw last year. Really nice, gorgeous photos, great color. And, but this is where the yearbooks start. They start sketches on paper, and they started as ideas that they maybe sketch out something. This is a couple of years ago to show what it is, and that's their cover from that year. But it's all a process, is what I'm trying to tell you. And there's sort of the end of the process, right? All 500 plus pages won. So it's a massive undertaking. That's the first thing to understand, that it's going to take a while. We end up designing and training at the first. We design it in the same yearbook sometimes as the year before for a while before we sort of break out of that. So that takes a while, but just the whole process kind of takes a while. So I always tell kids, give me 40 ideas as opposed to just one. So many times you struggle with that idea of like you think you're done and there's always something more. And we all know publishing is hard, and keep working and keep perfecting something. And it's a lot of feedback, a lot of redoing, a lot of polishing. And so you can see here, this is a design from me about 2 years ago, kind of the process of like how the design, and this isn't even all her designs, of all the different things she tweaked and worked on. So we don't want kids to feel frustrated by the process, although it can be frustrating. Anybody that's done the creative process knows that. And so helping them to work through those frustrations is sometimes good. Coming back, seeking help if they really feel stuck, talking to me, talking to editors. And I always tell kids, I'm like, just because it's a student-led program doesn't mean you can't obviously talk to me and get feedback from me, because I'm gonna give it to them anyway at some point. But yeah, and so that's the kind of a deal to understand coming in. Here's one where again, you just see the process kind of build until they get to the point of doing something really nice and polished. No, and I always tell people it's true at every position. When kids start in here, they may have a position that they start on, but that doesn't mean that I don't encourage them to do something more. I always say, make yourself marketable. So what I mean by that is try out different things once you get in here. So you can start by doing photography, but then as you get into it, then you should be learning some design, maybe writing some. But this is just an example of where the process looks like, this is the photo editor going through kind of how they wanted their photo shoots that year. And there you kind of see that happen, but that was just her, right? It was one of the photo editors. And so then they brought in a real person and they got lucky in that she happened to be a model. And so, and you see them going through lots of these shoots and lots of ideas, to get to the one that they finally decided. And there is, that result. So anyway, it's a process that that you'll get an insight into come January. Hopefully, we will be able to do our showcase again because the showcase is a parent showcase where think of science fair meets journalism, where the kids showcase some of their portfolio work, but they also showcase like what goes into it. So you'll kind of get to see that. These kids will be working in the evening sometimes, depending on their positions. We'll start deadlines. That's a required part of the curriculum. So some deadline nights, a couple of hours that they'll need to come those nights, but they'll also, if they can't make it, there are some things that they can do to make up that time. So that's part of it. But again, some of that you'll see mid-year and you'll see kind of where they are and how they've come along. So, and that's really part of what I preach is process along the way. Doing it right, giving me 40 ideas to get to one, understanding the creative process. When it comes down to it, these kids are doing a lot of different things, even though their role may say one thing. They're coming up with ideas for the book, for spreads, for, whatever sidebars in the book. Photographers, we do something called feature hunting. That is, we have to have all sorts of photographs in the book that that aren't sort of an assigned spread. So our division pages, our index pages, those kind of things have photos on them. So we're always looking for the little moments that don't require maybe a whole spread. So we're always encouraging kids, maybe by topic, maybe it's faces this week, or maybe it's just something we don't have a lot of like freshmen. And so we're encouraging them to get out there and they have to turn in so many each week for a daily grade. There are monthly assignments. Photographers need to shoot that at least 4 times. Writers go through a writing process. Designers, same thing. They go through a rough and a final. We'll go through some critiques in class, which I mentioned. And editors will evaluate that production process, ability of kids to sort of turn in everything they need to turn in, have captions on a spread, have photos, have it all sort of there where at least is complete if we had to go with it, but then we'll go through a redoing process that you've already seen. And then of course the final product, which is kind of the final process grade for each of the monthly assignments or whatever they've got. So, but again, like I said, kids will be writing captions. Just because they're photographers or designers, that doesn't mean they may not be writing. And some kids have multiple job descriptions, so we're encouraging that. And so that also dictates sort of how much time some of the kids will be spending on it. Obviously, editors and those parents know by this point that there's quite a bit of time involved. And then captions and coverage, which is part of it. Coverage is sort of an element we have on every spread that the kids the kids get they get other kids in the book. So before I go back, let's go back here to this second. I forgot to cover a couple of things. So we'll be coming up for parents, not only will we have that showcase, but we are working on some parent booster positions. So if you're interested in helping out as sort of a J booster role, one's setting up the showcase. We're looking for some people in that role. And there'll be more information coming to you on those. And one of the things I mentioned is those deadline dinners, or excuse me, I mentioned the deadline nights that we will be working for a couple hours. We always try to feed them. We'd rather have them eat here than go off. And we've got it really okay last year. I think it'll be the same this year, where we can go at this point down to the cafeteria and the kids can have a dinner there. I think it's probably still going to be the same, where it has to be individually wrapped items or prepared items. I know this summer we were allowed to sort of have parents to hand out pizza. So we can kind of check out some things as we get a little closer to those. But anyway, so those are some opportunities for parents to get involved. And to sort of see also what's going on. It's always kind of fun to come up and hang out for a parent night and do those kind of things, because you get to sort of see kids in action sometimes. And feel free to come up. Also feel free to contact me if you have any questions about how this goes and how else it works. Again, my name is Dow Tate. There's my email address, excuse me, tate@smsd.org. Most all yearbook kids have my cell number if you need it. Because they're, sometimes I'm on call as far as if they've got trouble with shooting something, having camera problems. I'd say you've got photo editors, you've got me, feel free to call us. But you also can call the room. That room number only rings through probably after 3:30, but certainly feel free to call and leave me a message. I'm pretty good about returning it, and I'm also pretty good about returning emails. So feel free if there's any questions. So that's kind of a quick run through of the process and of what's ahead. I expect it to be a cool year and a good year. The kids have gotten off to a kind of good start this summer, and they've got some themes working, and now they've kind of got some concepts to work out and design to work out. So lots of good fun stuff, and hopefully it'll be a great process. But sure, if you have any questions, feel free to contact me. Thanks, and have a good night.